Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Pigskin Addicts back again with another video. So y'all see the title, you guys see the thumbnail. I'm gonna be straightforward and be direct here. Tom Telesco, he deserves an F, right? He deserves a F, not just for 2022, but his entire tenure. He deserves a F. Tom Telesco has been the most mediocre, if I can even say that, right? You know, his performance, you know, is a little less than mediocre at times, right? Most times. But, you know, just in general, right? As a GM, he has not been good. He just hasn't been good. People can say what they want to, but this is a result-oriented business. And he has not put enough talent around any of these teams that he has been a part of, right? Not just 2022, but any other teams that he's been a part of. There just hasn't been enough talent. There's been holes, right? There's always holes. There's always some type of hole that the Chargers have as far as rosters go. Right now, I understand that you can't have the perfect team with the salary cap and all of this type of stuff, but there are teams, right? Good teams and good GMs don't have glaring, gaping holes, right? They might have some weaknesses, but the glaring, gaping holes are a thing that us as Charger fans, we've gotten used to, right? Offense, defense, whatever. This is just something that we're used to as fans, and it's because Tom Telesco has not put enough around any of the Charger teams that he has been the GM of. The number one reason, though, that I give him a F, especially for 2022, is him sitting on his hands when the Chargers were going through major injury struggles all throughout the season. There was a point where Justin Herbert was throwing to Michael Bandy, DeAndre Carter, and Jason Moore, right? All of these guys are roster bubble players, right? Do these guys even make any of the other playoff teams' rosters during training camp, right? Probably not. That's who Justin Herbert had to throw to. Tom Telesco did nothing. He sat on his hands. Did not go out. Did not try to trade for any receivers. Did not go out, try to sign any receivers, right? You look at a guy like Kadarius Toney. He was available. The Giants had made him available. He had been out there for, what was it, a month? At least a couple of months, right? He had been available. All he had to do was call up, make a trade. The Giants didn't really want a whole lot for him. They wanted the guy out of the building. Kansas City gets him. He makes an impact in the Super Bowl that they win, right? And this is something that has happened throughout the Tom Telesco era, right? There have been players available who could make an impact for very, very low or reasonable prices as far as draft capital goes, right? It's players that are not going to sink your draft capital for the future, right? Maybe you give up a third to fourth round pick in, next year's draft or whatever, right? But these guys are not going to demand that much draft capital, right? There have been so many guys over the years, over his 10-year stint, who could have helped the Chargers in some way, and he continued to pass on them. And that's what he does. He passes on them. And for me, again, he gets a big F. There's nothing that can justify his tenure now for 10 years, right? 3 playoff appearances in 10 years. 3 of them in 10 years, right? And obviously, you never get past the divisional round either, right? We have seen enough of Tom Telesco. I don't know how much more we have to see from him, but we've seen enough. If you can't get that done in 10 years, you really don't deserve to be where you are right now. Now, in NFL circles, right, a full rebuild is generally looked at as being a 5-year process. Tom Telesco has been a part of the Chargers organization for 10 years now, right? The equivalent of 2 full rebuilds. And the Chargers are not really in that much of a better place than they were when he took over. They're really not, right? You obviously have a franchise quarterback in place. Now, this franchise quarterback is better than the last franchise quarterback, right? And I think we can all agree with that. But you have a franchise quarterback in place. You have a couple of good guys around him, but what else, right? There's really nothing else that you have, right? Coaching, very, very big question mark. Players, there's a lot of players on this roster are question marks, right? You look at guys who are making a lot of money, they're question marks. How are they going to perform, right? They didn't perform all that well this year, right? If a Khalil Mack can't perform all that great on an $8 million contract, what makes you think he's going to be even better on a $27 million contract next year, right? So we're looking at this thing from a holistic standpoint, and I'm just looking at it and I'm saying Tom Telesco is not the guy to lead the Chargers to the promised land. Now, I think one of the major issues that Tom Telesco has is the drafting, and it's obviously not been in the first round, right? There are a lot of can't miss players in the first rounds. I think he gets too much credit for that. Derwin James falls in your lap. You're going to take him, right? That's obviously a guy you're going to take. A Joey Bosa falls in your lap. You're going to take him. That's a guy you're going to take, right? Obviously, a Rashawn Slater falls into your lap. You're going to take him. A Justin Herbert falls into your lap. You're going to take him. These are can't miss prospects. These guys would have been stars anywhere. Any other franchise, any other roster, they would be stars. So I don't give him credit for drafting can't miss prospects. The thing that sets good GMs apart from the mediocre and the bad GMs is getting value in the draft, right? Being able to get value late in the draft, later rounds, right? You're talking about the fourth round on, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh round. How can you get value there? And there have been too many times where Tom Telesco will draft an experimental type of player. When you need a guy who can come in and make an impact right away, he drafts an experimental player, and before you know it, right, his contract's up. He gets cut in training camp, whatever, right? And the guy makes no impact at all. So you wasted a draft pick. And Tom Telesco has wasted way, way too many draft picks. Look no further than 2022, right? JT Woods, Isaiah Spiller, both those guys did absolutely nothing, right? And then you go down, you look at the rest of the draft, right? With the exception of Jamari Sawyer in the 6th round, nobody else really had an impact as far as a rookie, right? Zion Johnson was okay. You know, he had an up and down season. But as far as the impact that the Chargers need from guys who are on cheap contracts, they didn't get it. They really didn't get that much. And to be honest with you, I don't think that they're going to get a whole lot from this draft in 2023 if Tom Telesco is still, doing the same type of things that he's been doing for the past 10 years. So it's been 3 coaches now for Tom Telesco, and he has not been able to establish identity. And for me, this is the biggest thing. This is the biggest reason why he should have been gone. The Chargers have no identity. They just don't have any identity. And, you can blame coaches, right? And the Chargers have had 3 rookie head coaches under Tom Telesco. Obviously, Mike McCoy, Anthony Lynn, and now Brandon Staley, right? All 3 of these guys have been first-time head coaches. But when you are a GM, right, and you're a GM that has experience and you're under multiple head coaches, what you need to do, you need to get with coaches. You need to get with coaching staff. You need to get with ownership, and you need to develop a plan to build an identity. What type of identity is the team going to have, right? Your team identity cannot just be based off of your star quarterback. It doesn't work. We've seen the Chargers do that for years and years with Phillip Rivers. It didn't work, and it's not working now with Justin Herbert. You must build an identity. You have to build an identity. If you don't do that, you're going to struggle, and we're seeing it now. This is what happens when you don't build an identity, when you are just star reliant and you don't build an identity. This is not the NBA. You can't just, put a few stars together and think you're going to win championships. That's not how this thing works. You need guys to contribute, right? 1 through 53. You need that. You have to have that. Coaching matters, right? You have to have coaching. You have to have an experienced coach, offense, defense. You need all of these things in order to succeed. The Chargers have not put any of it together. They put together a shoddy, mediocre type of roster, right? Every single season, they ask their star quarterbacks to go out there and lead them to victory. That's what happens, right? And sometimes, the Chargers can get to the playoffs. It hasn't been a lot, in the past 10 years, but every now and then they'll get to the playoffs. And, under Phillip Rivers, they won a couple of playoff games. But, as far as long-term success, it just hasn't been there. And this is not the way to build it, right? Especially the way this modern NFL is working, right? The way that it works around the quarterback, offensive identities, right? Being able to surround your star quarterback with what he needs as far as players and, more importantly, coaching, right? Being able to do that. That's how the modern NFL works. The Chargers haven't done it. So, again, Tom Telesco, big fat F for me. Now, I think at this point right now, the only thing that can save Tom Telesco is a Super Bowl win. That's it. That's the only thing that can save him. The Chargers don't, perform in 2023, he's going to be gone. And I honestly hope that he's gone. I hope he's gone before the season is even done. We've seen enough of him. We've just seen enough. The Chargers need to go in a different direction. They need new blood in the building, and they must maximize all they have in Justin Herbert all you have in that franchise quarterback, all you have in that special quarterback, who comes around once a generation, right? He's a guy that comes around once a generation. If you don't maximize it, this is going to be a failure, a huge failure on the franchise, a huge failure on everybody involved in the organization. It will be a huge, huge failure. So to me, man, it's just simple, man. Tom Telesco's got to go. He deserves an F. He's been a F GM, since he took over. He talks a lot, but he hasn't done anything. And to me, it's very simple. It's very simple. Got to get him out. Got to get some new blood in, and hopefully the Chargers can do that sooner than later. But as long as he's GM, man, this is going to be a black cloud over this franchise. So I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this is who he is as a GM, and hey, it is what it is, right? But we can still hope for the best. We can still wish for the best, but this guy is not it. So that is all I got for this video, guys. Thank you guys so much for all the support. I really appreciate it. Shout out to all of my new subscribers. I appreciate you guys. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. I'll be back again tomorrow with more content, and until next time.